A gender reveal, as you know, is blamed for starting the El Dorado fire burning east of Los Angeles. Fox 5 legal analyst Wendy Patrick joining us now to explain, oh boy, the legal fallout for starting a wildfire. Wendy, good morning.
Good morning, Raul.
Okay, let's kind of summarize. I think most people have heard what happened here, but explain it to us if you could.
Well, a gender reveal party is just that. You have expecting parents excited about their newborn, and it's a way for them to announce the gender. Now, traditionally, obviously, it's pink for a girl, blue for a boy, and couples have to choose how they want to celebrate that Instagrammable moment. Is it cupcakes? Is it balloons? Or is it a bomb? These explosive announcements over the last couple of years have caused wildfires, and this is exactly what happened here. When you use pyrotechnics, incendiary devices, to literally set off sparks and flames, and then of course blue or pink smoke, that's how you make the announcement, terrible things can happen. And California has been like dried tinder waiting to spark, and that's exactly, Raul, what happened here.
I mean, they had no bad intentions. We know that. They tried to put it out the minute they saw the flames, and then it got out of control.
Right.
So it was an accident, but you're still responsible. So legally, where are they?
Okay, so that's a great question. I'm glad you asked me, Earl. So arson on one end of the spectrum and an accident on the other. This is a continuum of liability because remember, to be guilty of arson in California, you don't have to intentionally set a fire. You know, we have these stereotypes of somebody going out with matches, lighting something up, coming back to watch the blaze. A reckless burning qualifies as arson. So you have to look both criminally and then civilly under a negligence reckless standard where liability is going to lie. Now, you really don't know the extent of any of that until they put the fire out. Because depending on what's burned, whether it's property, whether it's inhabited structures, or whether injury is caused as a result, all of those factors will determine the levels of liability that might lie, both criminally and civilly.
See, I don't think I knew that reckless burning equals arson. Okay, authorities here. What do they have to consider in this particular case? And then what's the liability for the couple, for the family who essentially set the fire?
That's right. The fire starters, our hearts go out to them because we saw what happened. I mean, it was all caught on video camera, them grabbing the water bottles, furiously trying to put it out and involving the authorities. I mean, they did everything they could to mitigate the damage, which will no doubt be taken into consideration, regardless of the turn that this case ends up taking. But here's the problem, Raul. Fanning the flames, so to speak, on this argument isn't a word foreseeability. This is not the first time gender reveal pyrotechnics have started a wildfire. It's not the first time they've started a wildfire that's burned $1 million worth of damages. It's also not the first time criminal and civil liability have been imposed for doing exactly that. So when you look at what's going to happen here, even though many of the other cases have been in other states, the factors are the same. The aggravants, the mitigants, the extent of the damage, all the types of things that we're going to take into consideration in deciding what should happen here. Not to mention the lesson learned that perhaps we should move to other methods of introducing gender reveal celebrations. Surely there are other ways to celebrate it, especially if you live in a state like California, than explosives.
Okay, so there is precedent here. We've established that. So what's the punishment? We have something to look back on. What's going to be the punishment? How do you foresee that going down? What kind of fines?
Well, if it goes, both civilly and criminally, there'll be restitution involved if, in fact, charges are filed or if, in fact, a civil case is involved. And just to give you some perspective, I mean, there have been other cases where millions of dollars of damages have been imposed as restitution. Not to say that's going to be true in every case. Obviously, you have to look at the facts. How did it start? What was damaged? Structures, homes, personal injury. But on top of that, I mean, arson in most states can be either a felony or a misdemeanor, depending on the extent of the damage. And also depending on many other factors that are still under investigation here, so it's premature to guess. But those are the factors that everybody's going to be considering in deciding where do we go from here? What's going to be the liability for the fire starters? And regardless of what happens to this particular couple, to this family, I mean, everybody is involved when it comes to these kinds of activities and how dangerous it is to light fires of any kind in California, whether it's intentional, whether it's reckless, whether it's negligent. I think we're all learning that the hard way this fire season.
And then we wonder why fireworks are outlawed, and now probably...
That's why they're illegal in so many counties, Raul. That's exactly right.
Right, and people ask, well, why can't we do fireworks on our gender reveal? Well, look stuff has happened. That's why we end up where we are with these laws. And you see something maybe down the pike where they're just going to ban the fireworks for gender reveals?
Well, gender reveals, like I said, fanning the flames is that foreseeability argument.
Yeah.
This has happened before. And so what they're probably going to have to do is consider whether or not regulations need to be redone, re-advised, because maybe we're in a different sort of fire season. Whether you subscribe to climate change or whether you simply believe that we can have a particularly dry season like we did this season, maybe we have to rethink those. You can imagine that counties are looking at that right now to determine whether or not this is sufficiently threatening enough to ban fireworks in those cities.
Oh, Wendy, I'm starting to get, I'll be honest, I'm starting to get exhausted from all this. I'm going to end every interview from now on by saying, how about them Padres?
That's right.
Wendy, thank you.
Go Padres. That's
thank
the way
you
we'll
as always. I appreciate it.